On the 3rd of May 2026, on our way from Vilnius in Lithuania to Riga in Latvia, which is 375 kilometers away, we had stopped at the Hill of Crosses and then crossed the border and proceeded to the Rundale Palace Museum. Deep within the rolling plains of Semgale, Latvia, lies a structure that feels entirely displaced from its geography. It is an architectural mirage of immense grandeur. This is the Rundale Palace Museum. Versailles is a famous French city outside of Paris, often called the Versailles of the Baltics. Rundale is the grandest Baroque and Rococo palace complex in Northern Europe. It stands as a monumental testament to absolute power, artistic genius, and a turbulent history of ruin and resurrection. For centuries, this palace has witnessed the rise and fall of empires, survived devastating wars, and transitioned from a private playground of dukes to a preserved sanctuary of European art. Today, we step beyond its gates to explore its geography, its architecture, and the priceless treasures hidden within its walls. To understand why this palace exists, we must first look at its location. Rundale sits in a fertile agricultural region, just a short drive from the Lithuanian border. In the 18th century, this land was part of the Duchy of Courland and Semi-Gallia, a semi-independent wealthy fiefdom under the suzerainty of the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth. The palace was born from the fierce ambition of one man, Ernst Johann von Biron. Biron rose from relatively modest noble origins to become the favorite and lover of Anna Ivanova, the Duchess of Courland. When Anna unexpectedly ascended to the Russian imperial throne as empress in 1730, Biron's influence skyrocketed. In 1737, Biron was elected Duke of Courland. He required a summer residence that would reflect his newfound immense status and match the opulence of the Russian imperial court in St. Petersburg. Rundale was chosen. It was designed not as a military fortress, but as a palace of pleasure, diplomacy, and administrative display. It was a physical manifestation of Biron's absolute authority over the duchy. To realize his vision, Duke Biron hired the most celebrated architect of the era in Eastern Europe, an Italian born in Paris, Francesco Bartolomeo Rastelli. If that name sounds familiar, it is because Rastelli was the master architect behind Russia's most iconic landmarks, including the Winter Palace and the Catherine Palace in St. Petersburg. Rastelli designed Rundale in two distinct phases, giving the palace a unique architectural evolution. Construction began in 1736, heavily leaning into the grand, dramatic, and symmetrical constraints of the high Baroque style. But history interrupted. When Empress Anna died in 1740, Biron fell from grace, was arrested, and was exiled to Siberia. For over 2 decades, the palace stood incomplete, a hollow shell exposed to the Baltic winters. In 1762, Catherine the Great restored Biron to his dukedom. Rastelli returned to finish his masterpiece. However, artistic tastes had shifted. The heavy, rigid Baroque gave way to the light, playful, and asymmetrical Rococo style. Rastelli brought in top-tier European craftsmen, including the German sculptor Johann Michael Graf and Italian painters Francesco Martini and Carlo Succhi to finish the interiors. The interior of Rundale Palace is split into distinct state apartments and private quarters. The grand staircase, where the Duke's guests would have been received, is a masterclass in spatial design, utilizing natural light to create an immediate sense of awe. From the staircase, we enter the White Hall. Originally designed as a ballroom, this room is a triumph of light and porcelain-like stucco work by Johann Michael Graf. The walls feature intricate reliefs depicting pastoral scenes, the four seasons, and the elements. It feels weightless, joyous, and celebratory. As you look closely at the corners of this ballroom, and indeed almost every room in the palace, you will notice prominent monumental tower-like structures that look like grand marble or porcelain sculptures. But these are not mere decorations. These are traditional tiled masonry stoves, masterfully designed to survive the brutal Baltic winters. They served as the palace's primary heating system. Open fireplaces lost too much heat and posed a severe fire hazard to the silk walls and wood carvings. Rastrelli's solution was to turn a mechanical necessity into high art. Remarkably, you won't find a place to load wood from inside these grand rooms. To prevent ash, smoke, and lower class labor from disrupting the court, these stoves were engineered with rear loading fireboxes. Servants operated them entirely from a hidden labyrinth of narrow corridors and service rooms tucked cleanly away behind the palace walls. Step through the connecting doors into the Guild Hall or the throne room. This was the political heart of the palace. Here, the heavy marble stuccos and dazzling gold leaf were designed to intimidate and impress visiting dignitaries. The ceiling painting portrays the apotheosis of the Duke, visually cementing his right to rule. The Rose Room is a testament to the Rococo obsession with nature, adorned with artificial flowers made of plaster, so meticulously crafted they appear real. Connecting these grand halls is the Great Gallery, a long banqueting hall that showcases Rastrelli's ability to manipulate perspective. Its windows look out onto the formal gardens, seamlessly blending the indoor opulence with the outdoor landscape. Moving away from the public staterooms, we enter the Duke's private apartments, situated in the very center of the building. In the Duke's bedroom, we encounter some of the most historically significant treasures in the palace: the original cobalt blue porcelain stoves. Crafted in 1740 by the renowned master potter Gottfried Katter from Danzig, these spectacular blue stoves feature intricate hand-painted tiles inspired by Dutch Delftware. They operate on an ingenious thermal mass system. A hot, fast fire lit behind the walls would send smoke weaving through a winding labyrinth of internal brick channels. The massive brick core absorbed this immense heat energy and slowly radiated a gentle, consistent warmth through the porcelain tiles into the room for up to 24 hours. Following the dissolution of the Duchy of Courland in 1795, the palace changed hands many times, serving as a hospital, a school, and grain storage. Much of its original furniture was looted or destroyed during the World Wars. Of the original 80 masonry stores, only a handful survived intact. What we see today is the result of one of the most meticulous restoration projects in European history, spearheaded by the museum's longtime director, Evans Landsmanis, who even had master craftsmen flawlessly recreate missing cobalt stoves based on archival designs. Today, the Rundale Palace Museum stands as a treasure trove of decorative arts from the 17th and 18th centuries. The rooms house an unparalleled collection of authentic period furniture, textiles, and lighting fixtures sourced from across Europe to recreate the exact atmosphere of Byron's court. Among its most prized displays is a vast collection of porcelain featuring rare pieces from the famous Meissen factory in Germany, alongside delicate Asian ceramics that were highly coveted by European elites of the time. The experience of Rundale does not end at its stone walls. Rastrelli designed the palace and its grounds as an inseparable unit. The French formal garden, encompassing nearly 10 hectares, is fully enclosed by a canal and strictly follows the design principles of Versailles, featuring intricate embroidery patterns, a green theatre, and an extensive rose garden boasting thousands of historic varieties. Rundale Palace Museum is more than just a monument of stone, gold, and canvas. It is a survivor. It is a monument to human craftsmanship, patience, and the preservation of beauty against the ravages of time. It stands today as a proud symbol of Latvian cultural heritage and a glowing window into the extravagant world of the 18th century. After the visit to the Rundale Palace Museum, we proceeded to Riga and had dinner at Lido Hotel. We then checked into Riga Island Hotel and retired for the night.